Welcome to the Everyday is Saturday podcast, the #1 motivation show on the planet.
No more Mondays for you. It's time to make every day Saturday. Boom!
This is the podcast where we help you to accept who you are, not where you are.
On the roller coaster of life, you know we only sit in the front seat, champion. So make sure you are fastened in tight. Let's go!
Tired of feeling run down all the time during the week? We can help you make every day feel like it's a Saturday.
Let's go. Pack your bags. It's time to leave Averageville.
Introducing the man who thinks abnormal stands for above normal.
When you're on fire, people will travel from miles around to watch you burn, baby. We are fired up.
The host of the Everyday is Saturday show, Sam Crowley.
Hello, champion, and welcome back to the Everyday is Saturday podcast. New day, new week, new message. And thank you once again, everybody listening all around the world to the podcast. I appreciate you. Smash that 5-star rating on iTunes because it helps amazing people like you find the show when you leave a good review. All right, let's dive right in. Getting back and getting revenge. This is a little bit off the $1 million message topic or marketing, but it does, I think, also play into it. So give me a little space on today's show, and I think you'll find tremendous value. Karma. You know, I hear people, give them karma, get back, get this, get that. It's somebody who did you wrong, all right? Somebody who's done you wrong, and now you're going to see to it that you get that revenge back. I'm telling you, don't do it. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. When you wrestle with a pig in the mud, you get muddy yourself. And let me also just, and the reason I'm sharing this message is because I was I had a Zoom call last week with a prospect who booked a call, you know, they wanted to launch their podcast. We're just having a casual conversation, got into their life and, you know, the business and things like that. And they had somebody do them wrong in business. And it was just, I could just tell it was consuming them. Like it was just eating them alive. And I'm like, yeah, let that go. You just got to let that go. And here's why you got to let it go. It's easier said than done. Look, first of all, you know, I'm 55 years old. 15 years ago, I was not letting any of this go, man. I had a hit list, and I was going to get back at everybody who did me wrong. And I look back at, and I talked about this just a minute ago, about the mental energy and the anguish and the time that it consumes in your mind is a complete time vampire. I mean, it will bring you down a dark hole, and it's really, in my opinion, just an absolute waste of time because of the amount of time that it takes from you. Just thinking about it, you know, just thinking about it. Have you ever been tired at the end of the day, but you didn't do a workout or you didn't go for a long run or anything like that? You're just tired. Why? Because your mental energy is, you only have a limited amount of that in any given day. I craft my day when I'm on fire. That's when I'm going to record content, do coaching calls and things like that. And that takes a lot of mental energy, you know, the preparation and the talking and the strategizing and things like that. It's a very compacted part of my day. That's why when I used to go to a job every day, you know, I would in an 8 hour, if I only was in the office 8 hours, that was a really good day. But let's just say 8 hours, I would say less than 3, and that's probably stretching it, was using my mind and mental energy, like actually focused on something, because that's all I could do. The rest of the time was admin or paperwork or conversation, meetings. I mean, I totally checked out in meetings. I'd sit at the table and just daydream, probably like you do and most people do. I'm allergic to meetings. Like I have no interest in having a meeting with anybody unless there's a reason to have it, and it's going to be on my schedule when I know my brain power is there. But, you know, if somebody does you wrong, and, you know, you want to get back at them, 10x, 20x, 50x, back at you, completely wrong way. But here's why, okay? If you let it go right out of the gate, if you just let it go, water off a duck's back, you're going to still think about it, but then it's going to go away, all right? It's like your inbox, you know? You start out the day and you get an email that's maybe a negative email or something you don't want, you know, whatever. It just rubs you the wrong way. Well, you're going to get 50 to 75 other emails in that inbox, and eventually that baby's going to be pushed off to the second page, all right? You won't see it anymore. I mean, you could easily delete it, obviously, but I'm just saying, even if you didn't send it to the trash, that email goes all the way, before the end of the day, it's like 75 places down in your inbox. You don't even see it anymore. It doesn't even pop up. That's the way it should be forgotten, okay? Because here's the other thing. When this person who you're agonizing about, who did you wrong, and you want to get revenge on, give them karma. You want to give them karma. when they do it to the wrong person, because they're going to continue to show up that way in life, they're going to pick the wrong person, all right? And they're going to end up messing with somebody who does deliver that back on your behalf. You won't know about it, but you know it's going to happen. They're going to pick the wrong person to mess with, and that's when all of that is going to be delivered back to them. And by the way, these are miserable people. They lead miserable lives. They're just looking to get a reaction. They do it. You're not the first person. You won't be the last, but it's completely up to you 100% how you react to that experience, okay? Like at the beginning of this podcast, I said, smash that 5-star rating on iTunes. Well, I'd love to tell you that in the 18 years of this podcast, I've got nothing but raving 5-star reviews. Not the case. I mean, obviously not the case. I think, and I've shared this in our mastermind group, and I've probably said it on this podcast a few times as well, I think the best review I ever got was when I very first got started in podcasting. There was somebody that left me a 1 star. Okay, what's the lowest? 1 star. And they said, there's something terribly wrong with this man. I was like, they're not wrong. I mean, I think there is if you're coming to the podcast looking for your typical run-of-the-mill, motivational message that doesn't touch any third rail. Yeah, I think I loved it. Like I screenshotted it, circled it, shared it in our coaching group and things like that for a lot of reasons. Just got a good laugh. Like I could have taken that one of two ways. Like, who do you think you are? Where is this? Who is this? Try to report him to IT. No, left it out there. Loved it. And obviously I didn't forget about it, because if it was really something that, pushed my button in the wrong way, I would just completely forget about it. But I remember that because this is the podcast that, like we say, abnormal is above normal. And I also think about, this was a tricky time in my life when our daughter was in Children's Hospital for 9 months. And I would say, most of the time, and I'm saying over 90% of the time, the experience with the medical staff was just awesome. It was awesome. But there were a few times, I'm not going to share them on this podcast. I think I've talked about it on social media before. By the way, I would never name a name, never personally called anybody out. That is definitely a no-no. Do not get into a personal vendetta naming names on the internet. Not a good look. It just for a lot of reasons, okay? Somebody might name you, but I've never done that, but I talk in general terms. Nurses or doctors, we just had they put our daughter's life at risk in a couple of situations. And I just, and I posted about that one negative. So out of 9 months in Children's Hospital giving daily updates, which was really the genesis of my book, One More Breath. If you see it on Amazon, pick it up. It's a very inspiring book, and it chronicled that journey of when the summer of 2014 and all the way through our daughter being born at 1 pound at 24 weeks and all of the sleepless nights and when she came home and the celebration and still the sleepless nights. But 95% of that, was a positive experience, posting about that every day online. So I made one negative post about a situation that we ran into with a nurse. And again, people are like, oh, man, I'm so sorry. But then I had a few nurses say, hey, how dare you attack the nursing community? I'm like, what are you talking about? I've been posting for 200 days straight. I had one negative post, didn't name anybody specifically. By the way, my mom was a nurse, an RN. So if anybody has a special place in their heart for nurses, it's me. But you made one negative comment. And I did it to bring awareness as an advocate for individuals that not even if you have a baby in the NICU, but if you have an elderly parent or grandparent in a nursing home, you have to be their advocate. Because let me tell you, you're dealing with human beings, okay? And it's not like everybody out there has your loved one's best interest at heart. I think that's pretty academic. I think we can all agree with that. That's all the point of that post was. But you could put out 200 pieces of amazing content and make one negative reference, and here comes people that take it personally, get into attack mode. So what do? Water off a duck's back. That's the way you frame it through your lens. No big deal. It's our experience. It's what I'm going to post out there, and it's mainly all positive all the time. You took the one negative thing, not a big deal. And you really got to show up. That's what it means to show up authentically. You really, you want to add the value out there in whatever space that you work in. You want to bring and always focus on the client, the prospect, the customer. Bring the value, but also bring the truth. And the truth is absolute. There's no my truth. I don't have my truth. The truth is not my truth. It's absolute. That's why it's called the truth. There is no gray area. It's what that is. And let me just say, this entrepreneurial journey is not easy. All right. If you're somebody that's going to launch a movement, you're going to launch a podcast, maybe you're going to be a coach, a consultant, maybe a speaker, somebody like that out there, it is hard. And I think that's the message more people need to understand. It is not easy. Now, on the fulfillment meter, it's a 12 out of 10. I mean, there's nothing that will bring you more joy in your life, more purpose in your life, more fulfillment than launching your own message and adding your unique spice, that zone of genius that only you have. You know what I mean? So that, again, it's so purposeful. That's why we call it, there's two ways if you want to launch your message. There's a purpose-driven message and a profit-driven message, but you cannot get to the profit-driven message until you dial in what that purpose-driven one is, And that's how this whole don't get down in the mud and wrestle with pigs message ties in, because when you are dialed in to your purpose and the value that you're going to bring, that if you spend even 10 seconds wrestling in the mud with this individual, you are going to be so distracted. It's going to take you off course. Just take a breather. Check out, close the laptop, turn off the phone, whatever that is. Go for a walk, go to the gym, whatever that looks like for you, and just get away, because you are built for so much more than delivering revenge or payback or karma or anything like that. Like I said, they're going to run into somebody down the road that's going to be the wrong person that's going to do that for you 1,000 times more than you would have ever done, and let them expend the mental energy of taking care of that person. And oh, by the way, as a Christian, all of that revenge is in God's hands, okay? We have such a short, limited time on this planet. God will take care of all of that, all right, in his time. And let me tell you something right now. These words that I'm sharing with you, you can harvest the best and throw away the rest. But as you get older in life, you really start to understand how this stuff works. I mean, I wish I would have, if I'm coaching a 25 to 30-year-old version of myself, I wish I would have dialed into this part of it sooner, because I wasted a lot of time allowing people to take up space in my mind, renting it out for free that they should have never had access to. Guys, we're here for a short period of time, and we're here for so much. All right? Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted by the negative stuff out there. It's going to show up. It's a tough journey. It's just a tough journey. Anybody that tries to paint a picture that, oh, this is easy, you do it. It's not. It's simple. The steps are simple, but we're human beings, and emotions get in the way a lot of the times. And the enemy wants to get out there and rattle it around in your mind, and their number one objective is to lie, so you can get distracted and not fulfill your purpose. Just don't let that happen, all right? So I hope this message found you in a good spot today. I'm pretty jacked up, pretty fired up today on a Monday, but we know that every day is Saturday. Hey, when you're ready to launch your own $1 million message, make sure you jump on my calendar. Let's have a conversation about you and where you're going and your message, all right? Just go to launchmymovement.com, and we'll do it. All right, let's go. Have the best day ever. And that's a wrap. Another Everyday is Saturday podcast in the books. Thanks so much for listening. Would you do your boy a favor? Would you get on iTunes or wherever you listen to the Everyday Saturday podcast and leave a rating for the show? It helps amazing people like you find the show faster. And that's what I'm looking for, amazing people like you. Hey, I'm always hanging out on the interwebs. You can check me out on Instagram at Everyday is Saturday. Let me know you're listening to the show. Love hearing from fans of the Everyday Saturday podcast. And one last thing, when you're ready to launch, get on my calendar, go to launchwithsam.com. You and I are going to work together to set rocket fuel to your dream. Are you ready? Let's do it. I'll see you on the next Everyday is Saturday podcast.